Hello and welcome back to Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. 22nd of November, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Assistant. The Judicial Servant. Females are not permitted to testify. 5 minutes. Heh, you're too late, little girl. 5 minutes. I will allow no more. But, Your Excellency! Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. It's dangerous to go to long Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Carrere and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Carrere? What's that? Never heard of that word before. Time's up! Prosecution demands the immediate removal of the female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been added to the court record. Goodbye then, and good luck. The poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South Africa, hunters of the region used it in since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects: instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry: the above-mentioned effects only occur when poison enters the body through a wound, like wounds from a recent surgery, you would think? Such as that inflicted by a blow pipe, not blow dart pipe. Well, I guess it technically goes either way. Due to its inability to render the human body paralytic, it is believed that the toxin could have an application of anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. You have long enough since now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but the prosecution has made a case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Yuneski, we have options. This is our last chance. Yeah, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have no evidence. Let it look. The yielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid It's not very long until tea time. We'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Bright. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize I phrased it as a question. However, I must ask you to treat this as an order. I've said it many times before, but Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is the new evidence that demands the court's attention? Why, it'd be her report.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yumei University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as Carrere, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of the deadly poison entering the body at least instant death.
Objection!
What a complete and utter nonsense. Carrere, you say? I've never heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Carrere before because of one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. Doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Carrere. Why? Because there is no test available here to identify the presence of it. What? Order! Counsel, does the deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting student from England, Carrere has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it's produced from an extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Carrere suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Aspersions are trumpery. To start with, the victim would have been administered the so-called poison. He would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence Carrere was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment the toxin enters the person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in complete agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if the man lost all his strength and if his muscles collapsed to the floor, with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could have gone largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Cosmo. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. Full explanation is extremely unpleasant. Poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, the muscles that control respiration fail. Respiration? other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous! To the observer, it would almost look like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. For the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly career poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? Hitherto unknown poison for which there's no mean of testings? What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be... It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work, and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of a innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I for one refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. That's not how that works. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games, these foolish court romantics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever's the matter? You looked quite stunned. So, no career. The bottle's clean, is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of the friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to be poison in the bottle. So how? How did she swallow the whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attended in London. There has to have been some poison in the bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have killed over dead. It obviously contains poison. The culprit did put Carrera poison in his water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There's some possible way that bottle could have contained poison. I mean, we just saw. Miss Brett was drinking water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How, exactly? Think through all the things that I don't add here one by one. Sure, the answer is in the evidence we have in the courtroom record.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion by evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this?
Yes!
The answer is to the riddle. It's right here in her own research.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No? After all, you don't speak English. The reporters are rubbish. This impudent scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Sasao's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered its entirety by the court. You'll direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer? The special characteristics.
We've been hearing a lot about this Carrera poison. So indigenous hunters have been using the poison for years and years to place the heads of arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point. But if they were to use those laced arrows, doesn't that mean they would have trace of poison left on the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat the prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, counsel. No, that'd be madness. No, it's Sparta.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense.
Yes. The mention of that particular detail seems strange to me, though. It all makes sense when you interpret what's written as this. When Carrere enters the body through an open wound, it has a terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You know Carrere's special characteristics. You knew they could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion. Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? Lawyer?
Objection!
All poisonous talk is fascinating, I'm sure. I fail to see how possibly... So, the little little puppy is a new toy to play with. Some facts you've read in a book. I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? Nothing in your brain has managed to deduce Carrere is safe to ingest. Seems likely that the effects are neutralized by the sick nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yeah, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk. The professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah. That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy wouldn't be able to understand, no? Normally you'd be correct. Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drink the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest... Yes, this Carrere poison is completely irrelevant to the case. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Who's a real cockroach here, bitch? What is this, welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Objection!
Objection!
I don't think so, Mr. Zellbrett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well there's no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both of you and the victims drank the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. So you know that the poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone be killed? Simple. Because this medical report. As Miss Bright so rightly pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there's a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. The fatal difference? The toxic effects of Carrere are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it would be completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking it?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have from if you had just been bit to the tetanus and had a tooth extract, for example. Spratt, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you're well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So, that's it. He used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. We'll find out soon enough. Purell. That's okay. Childishly silly and trivial. See, when you leave that idle evidence laying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Whoopsie daisy! Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! What is it? What just happened? It's the English woman. She just smashed the bottle. Some Supreme Court. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much wire as you can. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, soak up the water beautifully. Yet neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench all you'd like, my boy. If there was really any poison there or not. And let's not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel of prosecution? Oh, of course. You're referring to the photographic print, I presume? That's right. And really, looking at the photograph, it's clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting next with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is this little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim this dead day, using prayer, in order to frame him for the crime. He waited until he picked up the pistol he had arranged for him to find on the floor, before he shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all he had to do was turn him around in his chair. See, you have every opportunity to commit the crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? They shot the professor's dead body? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. As you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yeah? You've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? Falsified piece of evidence, that's true. So if there were any clues left for us to use, it must be in your head. My head? You told me before your powers of observation were the one thing you're proud of. Well, yeah, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again. Try to remember every last detail of the scene. Everything you saw, you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Whoa, that's blood. Is Cosmo right? Somewhere in vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Actually, Cosmo, I think I might have something. Thinking back to what I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always had something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off her face with some evidence. Alright, can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whether it could be the key to arriving at the truth, whatever it is about all this. It's here somewhere, a clue that shows who his killer must have been. A blood stain on the plate. Inspector Asanaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, perfection in your investigations, don't you? Hey, Eugene, welcome back. Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the crime scene. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took on the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going with Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw this scene shown in photographic print with my own eyes. I saw that the one base of the plate the steak was preserved on was a splattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph, and then the relative possession of everything there. There was no exit wound, too. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. I'm supposed to have shot him in the chest from the front. There's no way the blood from the victim ended up directly behind him.
Ah!
Yeah. For blood to make it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been saying the opposite of the professor as you were. Giselle Brett.
I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expecting to believe something that the accused had apparently remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career's police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. Don't you dare call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? Took the steak that you'd been eating, Miss Bright. Took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. I did it all in the name of justice! Demands retribution. Then we can find out for sure whether or not the bloodstain is on her plate. You must examine it now.
Inspector! The court wishes to examine the plate of the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Yeah. Never mind what he does, it's completely illegal. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood man. Show the court.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. So unfortunately, no blood. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. No, I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. It was blood on the side of the plate. Well, there's an easy explanation. Wouldn't that becoming an expression, little boy? See, this is why I always say you can't trust the Japanese, tell you. I couldn't agree more. In the case of the disgrace to the Empire,
I believe we may have found
it was cleaned away. Well, that's one way of saying what could have happened, but it's well, the proof is in the pudding. Or, well, in this case, the proof is in the steak. I guess. It'll be explained, I'm sure. I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion to the trial. Let's hope so. Let's pretending to attempt at court proceedings. It's painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! The sorry-looking state reveals the facts too clearly. If the sorry looking accused wishes to examine again, be my guest. The plate has been added to the court record. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what. Just keep swimming. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As if evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way. I presume any further examination of the evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? The bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate steak reveal any other clues at all? Of course it can. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef has hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the truth. The only way thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in the trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must be ensured of a thorough investigation. I will not be giving a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been expelled. I see. It's a newly affirmed ally of my country. That's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense will now clearly show the court to what you're alluding. Where precisely on the beefsteak is the clue? Well, that's simple. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. In the homework from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did he say a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from meat, it says it looks to be in good condition. Imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time.
today that we've heard about this. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion before bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means...
Got it!
Good gracious? That's... Koban? What on earth? Oh wait, we are one at that. Yes. You do realize the game's, like, full of wordplay? Like, just names in general are wordplay. Like, take a such an ouchie. Freaking yes sir, no sir, with his son I don't know sir, aka I don't know sir. Curio corrector, which is just Curio collector, and Giselle Brett. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant that day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question. How could I know? Never seen that thing in my life. I don't know what it is, and I don't have any part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how it's relevant. Coin under the meat. It could simply be a careless mistake of the chef.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be underneath the piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be underneath a piece of steak. This turns out to be relevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now. You never had it to begin with, so that's kind of a moot point.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it was you who was irrelevant. Even though I'm the one in trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of the coin if he can explain what happened it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the steak is... well, that'd be Curio Corrector.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Rusty, Curio Corrector. Serious? This isn't... as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. Exactly the moment the gun had fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor, sucking the sergeant's dick. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what are you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoei era Koban, my prized coin. Then this Hoei era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
No. Please, why would correct son's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and this plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring him back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. The correct answer is that that's not her steak. Can't believe that we've come back to around to that pair again. I have a hunch, strong hunch.
that if we chase down the real significance of the Koban, we'll find a key element to this case and turn this case around. And that's what you call a turnabout, which is not fair play. It's foul play. And the baby's still pulling on his mustache.
What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves.
Exploited by the police we were. Little, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique, like my life. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this rusty shop owner's existence.
Be that as it may, correct your son. Something has come up to light that requires your clarification. As far as your rusty memory serves, have you...
What? Yes, that's it. That one. The very one. The very exact one that it is. You're splendiferous. Oh, a treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be.
As I thought.
Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped?
I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. You found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and his plate, soaked in beets juices.
Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously?
Clearly, it wouldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there.
Somebody concealed my holy treasure between a slab of meat and a milk plate. Who would have done such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing.
Excuse me. Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trail, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent undercover, is it? Yes, I took the job as waiter at the restaurant to flush out the criminal. Seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief working in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Character's son's Koban is still clear.
What?
What? Sorry, wrong voice. I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on the matter. Tell us, who is this despicable scoundrel who stole Character's Koban? Well, that'd be a yes or no, sir.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant, yes or no, sir?
What? How? How dare you? You monster!
Monster?
I stole the Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, I am. You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me, it was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all this. I'm accusing my own freaking son, who's, a year old. And has eyes that look painted on.
You would push the blame of your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? See who's the monster, Sergeant Osa.
Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Ah!
And his back is broken. It's adorable. The fact his baby knows how to salute is adorable.
Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Yesen Osa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know the extraordinarily low wages of the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe?
Same is true for Americans, unfortunately.
I understand that the temporary increase of taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. I've heard it's hard on low-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son.
That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant?
The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I go there to do reconnaissance for a target. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time.
Sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man at his Koban?
Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble.
A veritable phantom thief you are. You never see it coming.
I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang. Yes, the professor was shot. I knew that the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket. I'd be finished. I too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. Slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it on a later date. And technically you were right. Everyone's just stunned silent.
This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling on your own time. Well, Miss Brett?
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all.
How did it help the current case?
May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed.
Well, you'll find out soon enough.
The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant, and would certainly appear to be unrelated to the murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it? Well...
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife or fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Bitch, it's Sparta. I will fucking Sparta kick you into the next century if I have to.
Which, I mean, technically isn't that far away because it's literally 1899 in the game. Very well, now that all questions concerning the witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her.
Actually, that last statement gives me very, very big pause.
Miss Brett, you're free to leave.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. Staked.
Yeah, weren't we all?
And as usual, you are very bad at spelling. Because you misspelled damn, and you also misspelled hungry. And good day.
Inosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there's a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call it out now, it's too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like to explain the contradiction in your parting words for Sabina a moment ago. YouTube rules and I knew I misspelled it. Yeah, fair. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. I'm sure Tanukis do it all the time, if you get what I mean. They have really big sacks to do that with. And as for picking up the steak and biting into it without using the knife and fork, hint, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Again, it's Sparta, you dumb bitch. Yes, I'm right. What she said just exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see some evidence, counsel. Miss Brett's words were truly a contradictory. What evidence would prove it? Well, this obvious beefsteak. I mean, just look at it. It's clearly like it's bitten into.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett was eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on.
More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unusual? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. See, you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. That's your real name.
Noticed what exactly, counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishwoman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting it without a fork or knife. Of course she did. She's a refined Englishwoman herself. Then take a good look at the steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. Ah! Oh! Aha! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if I the witness, as she claims, when contemplating anything without a fork and knife, there shouldn't be teeth marks on the steak at all.
Objection!
But what's your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't... Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course. This will be over in the blink of the eye.
Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in its place. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Oof. Of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implication of these teeth marks in the stake have for her. Inosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at last, it's all coming together. The mysterious teeth marks in the stake that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain and I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot him that day. Except that these teeth marks in the stake are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that Ged tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that the barbaric teeth marks on the stake here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond a doubt who shot him. Conclusive evidence. How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought to the court yet. Hasn't been... what? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. This trial has run for several hours already. You say there's evidence that we haven't been brought forward. It can't be. I don't believe you have it. That's right, I don't have it. I don't. There's someone who does have it. Someone in the very courtroom. And that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to. We'll solve everything that remains a mystery in the case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request for the defense in the trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth? That would be... Satoru Hosonaga.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I'd been withholding conclusive evidence? Well, not intentionally. That's ridiculous. Seriously, you really should get that cough looked at. No. Not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chopping my way through a good steak, as well as admitting to stealing correct his son's coin. He told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something to me? Was the steak you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course. Might be a soldier that in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she might be manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't have to take bites out of her steak, nor did she have an opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest that eating would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you don't suggest that the Sergeant switched the two stakes over. Well, actually, yeah. You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened, I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes. I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake, my leg, and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. That'd be in my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my tin cans. With my military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign-laced table.
What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. Let's do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable!
However, fear not, Prosecutor Son.
What now?
I swear on the brass buttons on my uniform. That's all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, Sergeant knows to switch the plates over. It means that he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate on it, back to his own table.
Yes, that follows.
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken our plate after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you'd taken both. That's correct. Then please present it to the court. The plate that was actually on the victim's table the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can this possibly tell us now? I mean, Cold Slab and Tough Meat can't even have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time. Beg your pardon! Surely you're not forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the state plan promises to prove such a trouble for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked for the plate, see the plate, is to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound. I believe the defense's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate where you were eaten from. Let's not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table. Yes, sir. Bum bum. Sorry for keeping you. Kept you waiting, huh? Wait, Ron's franchise. Here's the other steak in its plate. And look, there's the blood. Please, feel free to examine it. The bloodstain is clearly visible, look. But considering he was shot on the right side, like, how did it splatter to the left? I don't get that.
Yes!
Whatever. Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who could have possibly shot him from the front. I'm sure everyone knows who, by now, who it is. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. Oh, the poor swan.
Outdone by by a Japanese schoolboy. No, no, no!
I don't think that's how chicks work. And a black chick. A black chocobo. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't think she'd be going to heaven. Chicks in the courtroom! Much better than confetti. Why does he get a black chick? I want a black chick. Wait, that sounds weird. I mean, racist. Or, I guess it wouldn't really be racist.
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using Carrere. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth.
So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be in his system. Or water. Because Carrere is unheard of in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water. It would have all been over. I placed the steak that I had ordered in front of him to make it look as though he was dining alone. I'd leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor to his table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter. The fact that you decided to come over and greet him meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. Indeed, of course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. He made sure he was sitting in his chair such as he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin his murder on an innocent man. It happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I hid the bottle of Carrere in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed it under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There was two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which he had presumably placed on the floor. A place where you were sure I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. He noticed the gun, as I intended. And then, just as he bent down to pick it up, that's when he shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused commotion, at which point the wearer appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. Took him into the pantry that
joins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn him around on his chair. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So, there you have it. That's the entirety of my misdemeanor. I'd call it more than a misdemeanor, but... Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder... Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. Just like Delia Hawthorne against Phoenix Wright. Let's see. This trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement.
This can't be. Takatsuchi doesn't lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student.
Actually, I'm worse than a rookie. I've never been a lawyer. You'd better start being used to the tough opposition.
Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Well, yeah? This insult to the Aoki family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited in age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Heritage Day gone tomorrow. 1,000 millennia may pass. Still, the Aoki clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. And more, the Pain clan will never live up to the Right clan either, because descendants. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan, well, I believe, go down in history as the start of the new chapter to the country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. Use of evidence in this deduction to unravel the truth is a modern technology. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I never understood how katanas get, how people are in anime and games like this, like use a katana to cut something like that far away from them. Like, I mean, they're not Sephiroth. They don't have the 7-inch EpiPen. Every 7-foot EpiPen. After all, it's only been a few short decades since our country opened its door to the outer world. But the Western idea of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. There's means behind cutting it off? There's meaning behind cutting it off. Yeah, I guess. It's more symbolic than anything. Plus, with, it's predecessor, it's, descendants losing their toupees and shit, yeah. Symbolic of that. Feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. New future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. As for the young to pursue. Kazuma-saki. Yes? After this trial, you are to decide to embark on a journey of discovery into the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world as you can able to, and do not forget to fulfill the mission proposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. Very much look forward to seeing how you carry out that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. Hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Confetti, Sakura is in the courtroom. Not confetti. This court is now adjourned. Second, 22nd of November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, defendants at Antechamber 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe that what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through a horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thanks, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from a place on Yume University Street, don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has really paid off. That's Sasato-san. Congratulations to both you and for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do any. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report, Miss Bretz, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really go to my father. Simply doing as he asked. It was his idea to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yeah, of course. Katoba. Forgive me for intruding on the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Katoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Speaking of Mikatoba. Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh, no. It's I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh, yes. You mentioned that before. It's you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikatoba stayed overseas himself. Went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably that's where you met him. Exactly. In those days we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides, it's your turn, Asagi. Great Britain is a magnificent country, it leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. Oh boy! See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn as I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asagi clan. Not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It's like my penis. It cuts down everything in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happening to the woman? She's out bred, I mean.
After all, she's guilty of murder. Yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's gonna face trial herself now. She's the true culprit. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Consular. Inspector Osanaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. Let's congratulate. But what is this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for his crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case. Somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. The consular courts were a thing of the past and that we've signed a friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances you'd be right. Then, so long as there's not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court like this. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but doesn't justify governments making secret agreements about our fate, does it? Something strange going on. Miss Brett can't be held accountable for actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of her. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make a change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. The professor... You're right, there's no time for gloomy faces. We should celebrate Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start with having some fun. In that case, might I suggest Le Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about the details for now. To Le Carnival. Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course. Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. You don't know that. Kazuma. Yeah, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer there, weren't you? The defense was all your work. Your skills made the difference, though. One day I bet you'll make the best lawyer in the world. I'm not sure about that. Huh? To
be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again in the trial. I can't help but thinking that you were the one destined to be a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I had helped you today, it was only right at the start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it, for being a defense lawyer. Oh no, not me. The tense verbal combat, I never want to go through it again. I did what you told me to, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon for a lawyer needs in order to win? The knowledge of the law? No, the ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? Defense lawyer has the right to fight for his clients. He has to believe in him all the times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you, and I have superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have a choice about what to believe and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little experience. But you never stopped believing in me. Well, you faced something seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you've never stopped looking to the truth. Then in the end you found it through your own efforts, because you never stopped believing in me. Thank you, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. Sounds serious, but what is... Ah, you're still here, aren't you? Oh, Inspector Osanaga. Arrange some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up that conversation later. You should be celebrating right now. Your first, courtroom victory. It's yours, say, toured to Great Japan. Don't forget that. Yes, that too. So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Makotoba, Sato-san, who acted as my assistant, and that idiot Osanaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. Because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. End. Defense debut. Well, that is the end of the first chapter. Next time, we will see what has in store for our adventure in the adventure of the unbreakable speckled band. I will see you guys next time.